This is Akudo, let the truth be told. I got vibes of grace, lighting up the dark.
I think resilience is hanging on.
Just hanging on. Okay.
Just hanging on to something comes back in. I think, and I'll make it even simpler if you want to go in there for this. Resilience is saying I'm not quitting.
So what's your advice for entrepreneurs who are great at their craft but hate dealing with numbers?
Outsource, baby. QuickBooks says it takes between 5 and 10 hours a month to do your own bookkeeping. So let's go on the low end, 5 hours. So if you're doing your own bookkeeping, it's costing you $2,500 a month.
Is it fair to say that not everyone is going to be Michael Jordan?
Everybody's Michael Jordan. Of course, everybody's Michael Jordan.
Okay, that's a new take right there. Okay.
Are you stuck with slow banks and no funding? Waiting weeks for a loan can sink your business. At Monify, we deliver MCF funding fast, up to $25 million in just 24 to 72 hours. A simple application, lightning fast approval, and money in your bank ASAP. Get back to growing and not waiting. Call Monify LLC today and get funded tomorrow. Texas businesses trust Monify. Will you? Don't wait, because funds go fast. So apply now at www.monify.com or call 1-800-608-0490. Monify, wealth born of character.
All right, guys, we've come back again for another one. Welcome to the Akudo Experience. My name is Great Akudo, and I have a wonderful guest for you today. You're going to get a lot. When I'm talking about a lot of value and wisdom from this guy, I'm not mincing mouth. He's the man, okay? Albert Corey, a founder of Corey & Associates Accounting. He has helped over 3,000 families and business owners achieve financial clarity and long-term success for more than 4 decades. I mean, longer than I've been alive, actually. So he's not someone to be trifled with. He's not someone that you play with. When he talks, you listen. You understand? And he is the creator of the profit maximizer system. He turns confusing tax and bookkeeping challenges into simple, proven strategies that drive predictable profits. So Albert's expertise spans across all industries, from truckers to entertainers, delivering personalized solutions that work. Now, more than just numbers, he helps clients align their business with their passion, which is something I know that most people do not know how to do. They think, only passion or only business. But to align those two, you need someone like Albert to do that for you. So a Disney pin trader and mentor at heart, Albert empowers entrepreneurs to scale with confidence, with peace of mind, and a clear path to financial freedom. So without any further ado, wherever you are, I want you to start clapping these hands right now as we welcome Albert Corey. Albert, sir, thank you so much for taking the time. How you doing today, sir?
I am doing amazing, Mr. Great.
Man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you today, and I can't wait to gain the wisdom, even if it's just a little bit, for myself. But I hope that you're going to be able to serve our audience in what you have to offer. Let's get right into it. Who is Albert? Where are you from, Albert? Are you single?
Sure.
What is Albert like? Who is this guy? Talk to us.
Well, my name's Albert Corey. We've lived in the same I've been in business for almost over 40 years now. We've lived in the same neighborhood for 55 years, Miami Springs, Florida. Same neighbor I grew up. Like, you can sometimes see me on Instagram and Facebook running around in my golf cart in Miami Springs, Florida. So been 35 years married. We work together in between the tax stuff and the rental divisions.
So you are in real estate or something?
Oh, yeah. We have rentals and management and all that.
There you go. Do you have any kids, grandkids, I suppose?
We have 3 kids and 1 granddaughter.
Oh, congratulations on that. And they're all in Florida?
We all live within blocks from here.
That's something
My
rare
granddaughter
nowadays.
4 houses away on the street over, and my daughter still lives with me.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Albert, let's get into your element, shall we?
That's what I'm
So
here
I
for.
do have some questions that I'm going to ask you that, you know, how these things go. Some of the questions you might answer it, and then I have questions from your answer. So it
Sure.
doesn't need to be streamlined with all the questions I
I'm here.
sculpted. Just, you know, want it to flow, right? So the first one is, what is the biggest accounting mistake growing businesses make in 2025, and how can they avoid it?
I think the biggest mistake is don't do it themselves and hire bookkeepers to get it done. Get a
Really?
bookkeeper. I was just on stage in Chicago, and one of my big themes is QuickBooks. Well, let me go back and say the
Okay.
average business entrepreneur makes $500. Let's go with that number first.
Okay.
QuickBooks says it takes between 5 and 10 hours a month to do your own bookkeeping. So let's go on the low end, 5 hours.
Okay.
So if you're doing your own bookkeeping, it's costing you $2,500 a month. So a
Wow.
couple of things could happen. You could probably get somebody, like in our office, to do it for about no more than 300 a month.
No way.
But two reasons why. The reasons why I'm going to tell you is why you don't want to do it, because the biggest problems with small business owners today, either one, they say that I don't have time for my family, or I don't have time to work on my business.
Right.
Well, guess what? Let's take those 5 hours. You can either be hanging out with your family and friends and having a good time, or
Right.
two, you have 5 more hours to grow your business. So you can double that money instantly.
With the bookkeeping, if
Well,
someone
without you
hired you,
doing
they
the
could.
bookkeeping. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And bottom line is hire out to do it so you
Right.
can do something else.
Right. Right. So you have that time to focus.
Yes.
So what is the difference between accounting per se and bookkeeping? Is there a difference, or
Well,
are they the
it's
same
kind of
thing?
two different things. So what the
Okay.
bookkeeper does, they're gonna go and sit there and load all your stuff into a profit and loss sheet, which is basically says what your health of the business is, which is the deposits, which is your income, against all your expenses. That will give you a profit or loss. And that's going to tell you how healthy your business is. That's
Oh wow.
important, because if you start doing this every month, you now know where your business is. It's
Right.
going to show you if you're losing money, we better start cutting back. If you're making too much money, now you know now you have that extra money to go and invest in your
Right.
business to take it to the next level.
So does someone have to have an accounting degree to bookkeep?
Oh, no, not at all. I
Okay.
mean, nobody in my office who does bookkeeping have an accounting degree. You just
Wow.
got to have somebody who has a good knowledge of like QuickBooks or
Right.
any
Right. Right.
or any of these other companies.
So companies like Tax Act and all the rest, you wouldn't recommend them?
Okay, that's a different story, Mr. Great. I repeat after me. Raise your right hand. Come on, raise it up here. Raise your right hand.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you're a business owner,
Yes.
when you go to a heart surgeon,
Mhm.
okay, when you have a heart attack, are you
Mhm.
going to get a we used to say on stages, are you going to get a plug and like shock your, shocker?
No.
Or are you going to go to a cardiologist?
I'll go to a cardiologist.
Well, it goes to the same. Why are you going to do Tax Act where it doesn't talk back to you? The day that
Oh.
Tax Act can talk back to you is the day I use it. It's not talking back to you. It's not going to say, did you go out to dinner too much?
Yes.
Or maybe, did you go on vacation? Did you go on any business trips?
Right.
I did one today that they forgot to put when I was doing the return. They forgot to put the head of store. They forgot to put the cost of goods sold.
Oh, interesting. So definitely not recommended.
Oh, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you
That's
want to
interesting.
overpay the government, then God bless you.
Right.
Either
Right.
overpay the government or get a letter because you screwed it up. So which one you want?
So do you also help with people that owe back taxes?
I'm good at that.
Really?
I just came off when I was on stage. There's this thing called an amended return
Okay.
where you can go and review other people's the
Yes.
secret trick is maybe I should talk about this more on stage,
Yes.
is that people think, if I do an amended return, I'm going to get audited anymore. No, that's not true.
Yes.
It's just like doing any other tax return.
Yes. Wow. That is good to know then.
Thank you.
Because I do know, I think I do know personally someone that owed back taxes and might need your
Right.
assistance on that.
Especially if they
Okay.
got a business. If they got a business, Mr. Great,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay. They have to have a business.
No, not necessarily have a business, but in
Okay.
other words, if you owe money because you're one of the dumbass, so I shouldn't say it that way, that
No,
have a
no, you're fine.
W-2 form that made $80,000 a year. I got the best story I've ever. I got one client who they made 200,000, had no money taken out of their check. Well, guess what? You know you're gonna owe, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you got a
Right.
business.
Right. Then you can claim more things. Okay.
Right. But if you have a normal W-2 form, you don't have a business,
Mhm.
you're on the hook of donating money to the government, which you should have taken out all along. But
Oh, I
if you have a
see.
business, and I'm a business specialist, that we can help you go over the returns and see if they got all the deductions for you.
So talk a little bit about your company, 1042. How did you come up with that name? I'm
Well,
very curious.
This goes back to, I don't even know how long it goes back to, Mr. Great. This is
Yes.
when the internet first started, kind of deal. So how that all started
Yes.
is I was doing some MLM deals
Yes.
and SEO stuff, and they said that when you do your email,
Mhm.
you should always make an email name that you're selling your product,
Okay.
that there's no demand. There is
Right.
no, make it simple, stupid, because I know
Mhm.
we now do it all on our phones.
Mhm.
But back in the day, you know what I'm saying? But back in the day, you still had to type it in the computer. And
Of
I
course.
laugh in my office. Somebody gives you like a 30 character W-2, a 30 character email
Right.
that you're going to screw it up. Sorry to tell you. Now it's even
Right.
worse with cell phones, right? Because it's a lot harder. Now you
Right.
take mine. But hey, let me ask you a question. It seems like you're a smart man, correct? When I tell
try.
you my email's 1040 W-2,
Yes.
what do you think I do for a living?
Taxes and accounting for sure.
Thank you. You know how much money I made over the years when I email people or I'm on the phone? We go to customer service. What's
Yes.
your email? Oh, you do tax stuff. Can I call you
Yeah.
later? Because I'm selling even when I'm doing an email.
Right. So you've also had the domain a long time as well.
Maybe, I don't know. How long has the internet been around?
I don't even know.
I mean,
Probably around
I
40
can tell
years
you,
too.
I can probably tell you
Mhm.
maybe 10 years or more.
Okay. Okay.
Or more.
That is a very unique name for sure. And guys, you can hear it. Try to name your domain something similar to what you're doing. I like that.
And
Okay.
make it
Make it simple. You see, that's the thing though. Most domains are taken nowadays that are very simple. I don't know
they're
if you
not.
heard. Have you heard the
Because-
story of McDonald's and
Right.
and their domain?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Oh yeah, they initially didn't want it, so someone went and
Yeah.
bought it, McDonald's.com. And then eventually, when things started booming with the internet, they sold. I don't know how much, but he sold it for quite a bit of money to them.
Right.
So yeah.
But-
So
but
what I'm saying
even-
is, go ahead.
No, but even with that is, but like if you're doing great, here's a great one I would say. The Arku podcast. Or Arku,
Yeah, the
channel.
Akudo experience.
Right.
Yeah.
AkudoExperience.com.
Yes. Yes.
that's
Oh,
really
I
what
do
you
have
are.
it. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do have the AkudoExperience.com for sure.
Okay, that you're selling.
Yeah.
Or
So it's
Akuda-
literally what you're
Or
saying.
Akuda, I would have made it. Ready for this one? I would have
Tell
made
me.
it Akuda. If you're into podcasting, I would have been
Mhm.
AkudaPodcast.com.
Guys, maybe I should go buy that.
I would. Because
Okay.
ask me where we can see all my podcasts.
Right.
Ask me what it is.
What is it?
Taxmanpodcast.com. Where can you buy my
Tax-
book on Amazon? Where can you buy my book on Amazon?
Interesting.
Ask
Where?
me.
Where can we buy it? Say that again.
Taxmanbook.com.
So you have one for the podcast differently, and then you have one for the books differently.
It's still the same. Taxman blank,
Interesting.
right? Taxman podcast.
Yes.
Taxman Zoom. I'm part of a TV network where we changed names. It was Taxman TV.
Right.
So all along, I've been a marketer, because you have to be a
Right.
marketer first and businessman second.
You know
if I
what's
don't
funny?
find you, you ain't making any money, sir.
Right? I'm trying to confirm what you just said with my last guest. He literally said something like that. He said, you have to shift from being a doer in your business to being a marketer. That's it. And then you're confirming it right now with what you're saying. You have to be a marketer first before you become a businessman. Okay. Good to know. Good to know, sir. Now let's go to the next question. How can small businesses leverage AI? Because you and I talked a little bit about AI when we first talked. How can it leverage AI and automation and accounting without losing the human touch? Is it possible?
Well, let's start off with what AI is.
Yes.
It's simple. See, at the end of the day, AI still has a human touch. Because
Okay.
when just before we came on, you told me you need a shorter bio.
Yes,
But
sir.
I had to put it in. you still have to know how to write the prompts. So
Yes,
no
sir.
matter how machine language is still going to be, somebody
Yes.
still has to sit there and program it. So it's still human, and you still got to read it. I mean, I don't care if this gets to be like the movies,
Hmm.
like with AI that you see now, or the
Right,
next
being
future.
dangerous. Okay.
It's never going to give you the human touch. It's never going to
It's
spell every word.
never
It's never going to give your voice. I mean, you could program AI to say Albert Corey, and you can go in there and I'm there, but it's never going to give you the voice.
right,
It's going to give you a voice, but
right.
it can't give you the voice.
Ooh, word.
No matter how hard you try, it will never give you, be you 100. It might get to
Right,
80%, but
right.
never 100.
So can they leverage it in accounting? Can it be leveraged?
Well, sure, because I
Okay,
use it all the time to make
okay,
sure that I get on, I do all my Facebook posts. So I
okay.
make sure I get, so in other words, what I learned about AI lately, it's the next,
Mhm.
it's the next Google.
Okay. So
Why do you think,
information feeder.
why do you think Google and Siri all started to go after each other? So it's the next Google. In reality, it's nothing more than the next Google. So
Right.
the only difference is like if I want to learn how to market my store,
Hmm.
or let's say I want to do research because you want to know the new tax law. Well, you can
Okay.
type in what's the new tax law and it's gonna pop it up.
And it'll give you the most current information on that.
It's
Okay.
right. I mean, obviously you still gotta do a little bit more research, but
Right.
it's gonna give you a more detailed than if you try to go on Google.
Right. Have you heard of the AI hallucination thing going on?
No, I haven't heard that. I'm not that big into it yet.
Okay, okay, yeah. Some guy interviewed. He's into market research, and he told me about it. That's the first time I ever heard about it, and then I researched it, and it seems like some of the AI prompts you give it, it hallucinates an answer that doesn't exist.
Right, but that's where the human touch comes in.
That's
And
where the human touch comes. Yes, like what you're saying. So you're not afraid that AI will replace an industry like the accounting or bookkeeping.
well, it's all relative. It can't listen. I got into this argument with somebody on stage.
Hmm.
It will never replace me
Hmm.
because I'm always thinking out of the box.
Hmm.
Might come to 80%, but I'm gonna say, well, wait a minute. How can I make that wearing your green bandana? How can I
Hmm.
make it a tax deduction? Why are you wearing the green bandana? What's it
Interesting.
for? How come? And AI can't answer. Well, you'd have to go in and answer it. So it's still
Right.
me going in and answer it, asking it the question.
Right. Interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Now let's go to the next question, Albert. What key financial metrics should entrepreneurs track monthly to ensure healthy growth in their
Well, that's
business?
easy. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago with QuickBooks.
Okay.
You need to know your bottom line, the number one metric. What's your bottom line every month?
Can you elaborate more on that? What do you
Remember,
mean by
so
bottom line? For someone who has
simple.
never heard that
When I
word.
say the word simple is, remember, answer this question, right? Business owners have to make a profit, correct? To stay in business.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what an income statement does. Are you monitoring it?
Oh, I see.
If it's, if you feel the profit's not big enough, you understand though, then you better find a way to either increase their revenue or
Mhm.
cut off the expenses. Or if it's
Gotcha.
losing money, then you better figure out what you got to change. So
Okay, go
a
ahead.
profit, your bottom line never lies.
Right.
It will never lie because it's what you put in, it's what you made against what your expenses.
That's correct.
And if you're not happy with it, then you got business.
So, what would you advise someone on? I don't know if you've heard that there's a difference between sales, marketing, and branding. Which do you think a business should focus more on?
I think marketing at this point,
Marketing. Okay. And
because
why?
because the book that changed my life is
Okay.
Grant Cardone's Omnipresence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know
I
why?
haven't read it.
You know why? Because if people don't know you're out there, then how are you going to make the sales?
Right. Huh.
They got to know you before you can sell them. At least that's my world.
So, wouldn't you argue that branding could come before marketing since it's about them knowing you're there?
Right. Well, marketing and branding is
Uh-huh.
almost the same.
It's almost the same. Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Fair enough.
branding is your name. Maybe
Right.
that might have to come first, but the world still has to find you.
Right. Make
mean, maybe
yourself
branding
findable.
come first because you got to know what to market. But at the end of the day, marketing is what counts. Because you can brand yourself anything you want, but you still got to go out there and let the world know that you're there.
Right. That's true. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Guys, you can hear that. I agree, actually. And now the other question we have would be cash flow. So you
Amen.
heard the term cash flow is king.
That's for sure.
Okay. You're an old school guy, so of course you're gonna say that, but I wanna pick your brain on this.
No. It is the most important
Okay. What makes you say that?
because I'll give you the number one thing that proved
Okay.
this 5 years ago. Remember
Okay.
the thing called COVID?
Yes, sir.
Well, the people who survived had all the businesses survived had all that money stacked up in the back that
Right.
didn't matter that they were closed. They had the
That's so
cash
true,
to
though.
keep going.
That's so true, though. So are you against crypto?
Listen, problem with crypto is crypto's good, but here's the difference without the good old US dollar in your pocket.
That's
Listen,
true.
can I give you the number one example why crypto is not the number one thing?
Talk
It's
to
good
me.
to have,
Yes,
but
sir.
I can tell you the real reason why you got to have good old US dollars in the old pocket, the greens.
Yes, sir.
Back in 1992, Hurricane Andrew ripped the shit out of Miami, Florida. Remember, that was that big hurricane.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, my paps, we had motels and stuff, so my dad always had cash.
Okay.
So when the guy came with the chainsaw in the truck and he wanted, let's say, I'm going to make this up. Let's say he wanted $30 a bag of ice.
Mhm.
Pop said, here, boom, how many? How many you got? You got 10? Here's $300. Goodbye.
Wow.
Well, crypto can't do that.
No, especially at that time. No, you
No,
can't
but my
not.
point is cash is king.
Yes.
So when I call it get out of jail money, not get out of jail literally, but what happens?
Yes, sir. It's a figure of speech.
What
yeah.
happens if you need cash for whatever reason?
Yes, sir. So what's your go ahead. I
Crypto's
was
not
going to
going
ask
to
you a
help you
follow-up
at that
question, but
point.
finish up. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, crypto stock, anything like that will never help you.
Yes, sir. So my follow-up question will be, what's your number one tip for managing cash flow in an uncertain economy?
Well, it's called the income statement again. Knowing what you have.
Know how much you have.
Cash would be managing cash to me is how much do you need when the shit hits the fan?
Right.
Everybody could be different.
Right.
What's your expenses? I mean, how much you need to live. I mean, and I kind of learned this from Grant Cardone and kind of my dad is the average person should have at least 6 months of your expenses put away in instant liquid assets. Instant.
Right.
Crypto and stock could be instant, but crypto's definitely not instant.
Not instant for sure. Yes. Especially with all the hoops we have to jump to get a crypto nowadays. It's crazy.
No, but I'm not even about the hooks. How fast? Listen, I'll go toe to toe, Mr. Great, on crypto. I don't have it, but I understand it very well.
Mhm.
How fast, even if you have Coinbase, how fast is it to sell on Coinbase, transfer it to PayPal, put in your bank account, and then go to Bank America, whatever bank, and get the money out? How fast can you do all that?
No, I mean, if you have the transfer fees, you could do it almost instantaneously. Well, depending on the amount too.
It's not that instant because if you go put it in the bank and you need to go get the cash, you have to go to the bank. And you go at 5 o'clock at night, how are you going to get the cash? Or you have to run to the closest ATM machine.
Yes, sir.
Right? Point I'm trying to tell you that, Mr. Great, it's still it's still 4 or 5 hoops to get the money in an emergency.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Plus, you have to have a transfer fee.
I don't care about the fee. We're not worried about that. I mean,
Man,
I
that
get
stuff is
transfer
crazy,
fees
though.
at Square every day, so I'm not worried about the transfer fee, young man. I'm worried about, you understand though? It's not the transfer fee. It's the money in your pocket. You know what I'm talking about? It's getting the cash.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. So our next question to you would be, so how should businesses adjust their accounting strategies to adapt to a new tax laws in 2025? Is there any?
Yeah, it's simple.
Strategy,
It's called
okay.
find somebody who's been reading them every day.
Okay.
Don't expect, unless you're a nerd, it's going to be listening to Fox Business every single minute. You're not going to know.
Right.
Average person doesn't understand how the new bill that's coming. I know when this is coming on today, the 26th of July, 2025,
Right.
They still haven't passed the Trump bill.
They still haven't though. Yeah.
No,
The big
but
beautiful
my point
bill.
is you got to pay attention because
Yeah.
it can go either way. You know what I meant by that is you know what I meant by that, Mr. Great?
What's your point?
The point is you got to have somebody pay attention for you because no matter one way you're going to do well, the next minute you're going to get shafted.
Right.
So you
Right.
need to be keeping up. A great example would be if it doesn't pass, then we're all going to be paying a whole lot more money. So you better have
Okay.
more money in the bank. If it passes, you don't need as much
Right.
runway cash because you're going
Right.
to pay less tax. That's my point.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that aspect of the bill that
Well,
involves taxes?
well, because I mean, I listen to this. I mean, I watch too much Fox Business and Fox shows too much, so
Okay.
I listen to a lot. So what's going to happen is under
Mhm.
the old under the tax system we used since the Trumpster for the last 8 years, the tax rates have been a lot lower. The standard deductions have been higher. You know what the standard deduction is? That's
No, I do not know,
okay.
but you
So
can
standard
explain.
deduction says that I'm going to make this up. So, all right, great. So if you're married filing jointly, you don't
Mhm.
pay tax on the first $32,000,
Okay.
and they give you $2,000 per kid
Okay.
under the age of 16. Okay.
Okay.
If that goes away, the standard deduction drops to nothing, drops to $10,000 joint. And
Oh,
they've
I
taken away
see.
the $2,000 per kid under the age of 16.
Oh,
And the tax
really?
rates go higher.
And this is a federal tax
Federal
standard
tax.
deduction.
Right.
Applies across all states.
Yeah. On the federal side. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
IRS
Okay.
side.
Go ahead.
No. So that's why it could affect everybody.
Wow. You see, people don't know this. This is very interesting. So why does it have to revert back though? What was it? So initially
Because
it was the 10,000. Who made it
because
that?
again, this is where kind of like if I had it my way
Mhm.
back in the Stone Ages, I would have ran campaigns for a living. That's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't get into it. I mean, I went away to University of South Florida and
Mhm.
Tampa. I think if I
Okay.
would have went to like my mom wanted me to go to, I
Yeah.
probably would have found like Republican or Democratic Party, and really, I meant by got into it.
Right, right, right.
But I understand it because that's what I liked in high school and college.
Right.
It's called a bill. Your
Mhm.
question is it's a bill that Congress decides. Whoever you sent to Congress, it's a yes and no.
So they decided that the 10,000 was going to be the codified bill before
Right.
Trump
And then the
came in.
Trumpster came in and completely changed it.
Okay. So why didn't they codify it during Trump's first term?
Who
Is there a
knows?
reason?
Probably because everybody, I mean, I'm not,
Political reasons. Okay.
obviously political reasons.
Okay.
And even if you watch it closely, everybody has their agenda.
Okay.
Even if you're a Republican, there's
Right.
physically strong Republicans, there's within every political party,
Right.
I'm trying to say there's far right, far left.
100%.
So everybody has their own constituency.
Right.
So that's why it probably didn't get codified. This time they're trying to codify it for good.
Yes. 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 Now I see. Okay. So now it's going to now be the default once it's codified. Okay. I
Right.
got you. Man, okay, man. I learn something new every day, man. This is
You can
beautiful. I
see,
love
right? I've
it.
been around this block a couple of times.
You have. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's very good. I promise you, a lot of people do not know that. Okay. So next question would be, when scaling a business, when is the right time to hire an in-house accountant versus outsourcing? This is a very good question as a new business.
It's all relative to the size.
Okay.
Okay. It's that simple. If you are at the $3 million mark, making the big bucks, you want to have an in-house bookkeeper.
Mhm.
You understand now. But if you're my market is 0 to 3 employees, my average business probably is between $100 and $500,000 they're making. So the small Main Street business is not gonna, everything is done outside.
So what, on average, what do you pay an accountant? Is it a $300 a month, you said?
It's all relative who wants to do it.
Okay, it's all relative as well.
That price is so varied.
Okay.
We got
State
the
to
lowest
state.
prices. We got the lowest prices on bookkeeping because I'm using it as free money for my office. So I don't need, you understand? I don't need to charge $600 a month. I don't care. I get I get 150, 200, depending on what we got to do, because I want to get that's extra money for the office.
Got you. And how long does it take you to work it as a bookkeeper?
It's all relative. How
It's
many
all
pages?
relative. Okay. But either way, as relative as it is, it still boils down to when the client needs your expertise. You have to be there for them. Say that one more
Right.
time.
You're right. Seed.
Oh, okay. It makes sense. Makes sense to me. So, what's your advice for entrepreneurs who are great at their craft but hate dealing with numbers?
Outsource, baby.
That's too
Don't be too
simple for you
cheap
to
and
say.
outsource.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? If someone hates dealing with numbers, then they better have the money. Is it the time or the money?
Yep.
You're
No,
gonna
but
have
you
to
don't
spend
like
one or the other.
but if you think about it, it's not even about time or money.
Okay.
It's making sure, and I've been doing this game 40 years, and I can tell you I'll be getting real busy next month. You know why?
Why?
Because most of my people are just, sorry if you're watching this, they're too cheap, to pay a bookkeeper. You're making,
He said, "Sorry if you're watching
150K,
this." Yeah.
and you're not willing to pay, 2,400 to
Right.
go through your stuff and come up with the income statement. No, I got all the time I hear that.
Wow.
Or
Really?
I hear it all the time. I helped some with some company, and she was starting some Christian book, something, I don't care. And I
Mhm.
need help up at the company.
Mhm.
And I said, well, look, I got a class for $1,500 to help you take your business to the next level.
Mhm.
And I can tell, the way she talks, she's not going to come to me, and she's not going to hire a business coach. She's going to try to do it alone. And I said, oh, how come I didn't make any money?
Which is what affects most startups. They
See,
just want to do
and, and,
everything
and and the
alone.
funny thing is, I can tell you what I told you, Mr. Great, whether
Yes, sir.
marketing and stuff.
Yes,
I
sir.
got a major Amex card, that donated more than I want to say on the line
Right.
to learn. What I
Wow.
teach you is what I just tell a lot of my tips, either 40 years of experience
Yes, sir.
dealing with people, or a huge Amex bill, or hours on hours and hours and hours of learning my marketing, because I learned it all myself.
Yes, sir.
You understand? Or I took a class and then I figured, if I do this, what will happen?
Right. Huh. That is a very good point, though.
But most small businesses will not spend the money.
They won't. Is it because they're stringent on the money, or they don't see
No,
the
no,
value?
I can tell you from being from a family of North Lebanon Middle Easterners, they feel that it's stupid money to spend. With
Okay.
more, I'll come.
It's a mindset thing then. Okay.
Yeah, they say, oh, you don't need it. I said, okay, Dad, relax.
Interesting. Really? Huh. Okay. Okay. Are you are you guys listening to this? This is very good. This is very good. Next question would be, how can businesses use financial forecasting to make smarter growth decisions?
Oh, that's what I talked about before. Did you make a
Okay.
profit? I mean, that's what I talked about a couple of minutes ago, Mr. Great. Are you making money? Well, you're making money, then good. We can go and invest in more equipment. We can invest in more training. If you're broke
Mhm.
because you're keeping track of your numbers, oh no, 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 no. We're not, we're not going to Disney World. We're going to go to the city pool and hang out for the weekend. That's our vacation, right? So you gotta know what you're doing. No, you got to know the numbers to know what to do. That's what forecasting is.
Oh, that's what
Do you
forecasting
know,
is.
huh?
Yes.
Like I can tell you in my business, I
Mhm.
can tell you that come December 1st, I'm
Mhm.
crickets. From Thanksgiving on, it's crickets.
Crickets means you're out on vacation.
Pretty much.
Okay. Okay.
Because the phone's not going to ring. Now we start building websites and do other things.
Okay.
But as the phone ringing as revenue generating, no.
And would you say, are you saying that's good for business? What
No,
what is your
no,
point
no,
in
no,
that?
no, Mr. Great. Remember you said remember you were talking about forecasting.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
forecasting out that I better have remember we're talking about cash is king in the beginning?
Right.
I
Right.
better have my cash stacked up, because when the crickets come, when winter comes,
Now you're talking. Okay, I see what you mean.
who's the guy? I mean, the big tall, who's the biggest person development guy?
The
Tony
biggest
Robbins would say. Tony Robinson. Remember Tony Robinson? That
Tony
the
Robbins,
winter
like
is
the
coming.
basketballer?
No, Tony.
Oh, Tony, the consult coach guy.
Yeah, Tony
Yeah,
Robbins.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking of
There's
the
a saying, if
Spurs
you listen to his
basketball.
stuff, you got to be ready for the winter. Winter means that everybody's going to have a season that it's going to, you're going to have a dead season, or
Yes.
no revenue, or things are going to slow down. So I know my slowdown is December.
December
By
1st.
December
Okay.
10th, it's like, might as well go on vacation.
I got you.
But we're working on, we're still working because we're building out, the assets and flyers, and we're starting to prepare for
Mhm.
January 10th, which open up for the next season.
Do you educate? Do you teach people how to start a bookkeeping business?
Somebody asked me that.
Because I've
mean,
seen some guy that wrote a book about it and he's been
yeah,
all
but
over
I would tell
YouTube.
people no. I won't dignify anybody to do that.
Why not?
Because it's go get out of your own way. Get somebody else to do it. Start a bookkeeping business. It's like any other business. Are you good at it? If you're good at it, you can easily start a bookkeeping business. But you'd have to have the number one thing of success. You know what that is?
Resilience.
No, the hustle.
Yeah, that's some kind of resilience. Yeah.
No, that's not resilience.
It's not the same?
No, resilience says that when things are bad, you can hang on.
Okay.
The hustle says, what are you going to do to grow your business? What are you doing to get clients?
I see.
Are you willing to invest yourself? Are you willing to get on your happy ass like an airplane like I did? Fly out at 6:30 in the morning to fly to Chicago to speak at 2:00 and then come back at, fly back on Tuesday at 8:00 and get up at 10:00 and, be back
and do it again
at 9:30.
But so I'll argue that can one live without the other? Can resilience live without hustle, and can hustle live without resilience? You know what I mean?
Well, resilience means to me is, remember we talked about winter. Resilience means is, are you going to be around? No, I think it's completely different, because resilience says that you're trying to stay around. Hustle says you're going out to get it. Resilience, they might go together, but I think if you got the hustle, I think hustle would still come first and resilience comes second.
Okay. I see what you mean. So someone can be resilient without having the hustler mentality, but someone that cannot be hustler mentality without having resilience most of the time.
I think if you got hustle, the resilience won't be as long.
Okay.
Resilience to me says things are bad and I got to hang on.
Yes.
Hustle mentality says I'm out there, keep swinging, baby. Like being on podcasts, going to events.
Yes.
Doing every single Zoom that I got to do to get clients.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm by the hustle mentality.
Do you like sports?
Oh yeah. I went to the Panthers. I went to 3 of the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup last weekend.
Okay, congrats.
And we went to game 4. We got Miami, we got Dolphins, we got season tickets for like 15 years.
Wow. So now I want you to explain the hustle and the resilience in a sports term.
Okay. The hustle, resilience would be that you're down. Yeah, I'll give you a great example what happened to Edmonton Oilers, the game that I went to. That they lost. Let me give you the background. The Panthers are up 3-0 the end of the third period. And everybody's happy that we're almost ready to win the cup that day. Guess what? And I'll give you, it's the best one we'd understand better.
Yeah.
Are you a football person?
Not much of a football, more of basketball.
Okay. I can give.
But give me football. I understand it.
Okay. I can give you basketball too. Basketball would be, is you're down by, and I used to go a lot of the Heat games when LeBron was there.
Yeah.
So you're down by 30, you're down by 25 points with 8 minutes to play.
Yes.
Okay. What happens? The resilience would kick in that say, we're not going to lose. And you're going to keep making the plays until you come back. I mean, that happened a couple of weeks ago. Remember, the Knicks were down by 30.
Oh, yeah.
And they came back to win the game.
Yes, sir. So you're saying that's resilience, not hustle.
That's resilience.
Okay, so what's the hustle in that?
Hustle would be is the guy who went and scored the points to come back.
Oh, okay.
Resilience was, I'm not going to take it anymore, and you start making the stops. The hustle would be scoring.
Okay. See, there you go. That's wisdom.
The best, if you want to look at the really best one I can think of about that,
yes,
was the Tom Brady Falcon Super Bowl of 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Down by 3 touchdowns.
Yes, I remember that.
With 7 minutes to play.
Yes.
No, right? Okay, all the Falcons had to do is kick 1 field goal.
Right.
The game might have been over.
Right.
But the resilience is that the defense wasn't going to let that happen. And Tom Brady's hustle was, you could see him on the sideline saying, you boys, this ain't over. Let's get our, it's not over.
Yes.
I think football is a better hustle resilience than basketball.
Right. I see. Yeah, I see.
No, it's not over, guys. Defense, you better tighten up and and get the ball back.
And let's go. Yes.
Let's go.
So from my understanding, what you're saying actually is more of an individual thing, and resilience is more of a group thing per se, for lack of a better term.
I think resilience is hanging on.
You're just hanging on. Okay.
Just hanging on to something comes back in. I think, and I'll make it even simpler if you want to go on after this. Resilience is saying I'm not quitting.
Right.
That's the end of the game.
That's basically it. Yeah. And hustle means I keep going. Not just I'm not quitting, but I have to keep going.
What do I got to do next?
What do I have to do next? Okay.
And businesses fail
Yes.
because they lose the resilience and hustle.
Oof.
Most
Word.
startups fail because they don't have no hustle game.
Yes, sir. Man, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
I love that, sir. Okay. Thank you for that wisdom. Guys, you see what I'm saying? He's the man. So this is the next question for you. What's an underrated accounting tool? I know you're going to say QuickBooks before I finish. Or strategy that can save businesses time and money.
Don't do it themselves.
Okay, just don't do. Okay.
No, and then I'll go one step further.
Uh-huh.
Ask around to make sure whoever's going to help you understands your business. It's like I'm going to give you. I mean, you told me when we first started talking, you had a marketing business.
Yes, sir.
Right? And podcasting. Well, why are you going to go to an accounting person when you start to ask them, oh, can I deduct a VA? And they go, what's that?
Right.
Make sure you go to people who can talk your language.
Yes, sir.
Because if not, they're not going to do you any good.
So ask around within the industry you're in.
Whoever's going to do your accounting, make sure that they can talk what you do. And if you ask them, I'm giving you what's a VA. They can't answer, or I'll give you the best one of all time.
Mm-hmm.
If and I do plenty of long haul truck drivers,
Mm-hmm.
and you ask the guy, can I deduct lumpers? And if you know what a lumper is, but I'll tell you what it is in a minute.
I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
A lumper is a guy who, when you pull up the truck, you hire these people to help you unload quicker.
Okay. That's what they call. I thought they call helpers.
No, lumper, it's called in the trucking business.
Really?
Lumpers.
Okay.
They help you unload, they're not part of the company.
Yes,
You
yes,
bring
yes.
people in to unload the trucks quicker. So, or if the guy doesn't understand, I get a lot of com checks.
Okay.
I'm talking about trucker lingo. So
Right.
you don't have to know the lingo, but you understand?
Yeah. There is a terminology per industry, in other words.
I mean, they don't have to be, their IQ has to be that high, but enough that when you ask them something, they go, I don't know, I can't deduct it. It's like, I had somebody who told me, they became a customer, I can't deduct this, or the best one is my accountant said I deducted too much, or I can't deduct this without telling them why.
I was going to ask you something about my podcast or any podcast.
It's deductible.
I was going to say, no, I know it is, but I'm saying, like, to register it, is it best to register it as an LLC or as a nonprofit?
If that's the question.
Yeah.
I would tell you, all new businesses, I tell people become a sub-S company. Do not do an LLC. Ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever.
Really?
Because most business owners are solopreneurs, right or wrong, great.
Right.
So therefore, if you're solo, it's going to go directly on your personal tax return, Schedule C.
If you file it as an LLC?
What's that?
You're saying it will go to your personal tax return if you file it as an LLC?
Single member LLC, yes.
Oh,
unless you have a
really?
partner. Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yes. But a sub-S company, it works the same thing. I mean, it has a bunch of little bit of parameters that most small businesses, it doesn't matter.
Okay. A sub-S company. Like, what is a sub-S company, though?
Simple. Sub-S company, just what it is. It's a small business.
Okay.
That the government started like 25 years ago. Because not everybody has partners. I mean, it has a few little other parameters, but it's a lot easier to do.
Okay. And he does have benefits for the solopreneur?
The benefits that you don't need, you can be a partner of one. I mean, a couple of the only disadvantages are that you can only make up to $250,000 and you can only have 14 partners.
Okay.
But to that, I would say, Mr. Great, how many business starting up are making $250,000? And how many of them have more than one partner? And you can have up to 14.
Sub-S. Okay. Wow. I'm definitely looking into that because I was thinking about it recently on, Okay. Good to know. And they have the same tax benefits per se.
Everything's the exact same.
Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Thank you for that, sir. I'll definitely look into that. So, if you could give one piece of financial advice to your younger self, two pieces of advice to your younger self, though, actually. One thing you would tell them not to do, and two, something you tell them to do. What would those two things be?
I would tell you, don't be afraid to spend money on personal development and learning from coaches.
That's what you tell your younger self.
Oh, yeah. Because I was too scared or too cheap to spend.
Okay. I have a follow-up question, but finish up, though. What's the
No,
other thing?
because I might have gotten farther faster.
Really?
And remember, and I started at the time
hmm
when there was no internet. So I should have been reading like all these books. Remember,
Right.
because people like Jim Rohn, all these people have been around. So you would
Mhm.
start reading these self-help, all these business success magazines.
Right.
I mean, back in 84, 85, there was no internet. Oh, none of
Right.
it.
Okay. So you would encourage yourself to read more and
Well,
learn
back
more.
then there was no, right? You know what I'm talking about, though? Then there was no internet. But now with the internet, dude, there's, there's so many Zoom stuff you can go learn and
I mean,
go out and do
plethora.
more. Even back then, you could have found other events to go to.
You couldn't, or you could.
You could.
Okay.
I mean, there was
Okay.
always ads in magazine, there was always ads for places to show up even back
Right.
then.
Interesting. And what would you tell them not to do? What would you tell your younger self not to do?
Don't always listen to your phone. And trust me, a couple of times, I
Yes,
don't
sir.
drink, I don't smoke, I'm a fairly good guy.
Yes.
The mistake I made is a couple of things I told my dad what I spent.
How was that a mistake?
Well, simple. If you're a Lebanese guy, the best story that explains this the whole time is back in 1985. I was working H&R Block, and I spent my whole year's check, $5,000, to buy an XT machine from Zenith.
But what did that do for you? Why did you buy that?
I'm probably as a forward thinker, Mr. Great,
Uh-huh.
because I knew, okay, in 84, I started doing this. In
Okay.
85, I was doing everything by hand. My
Okay.
handwriting sucks and it took too long. So I
Okay.
had this brilliant idea. If I go buy a computer and buy a program, I don't have to write anything.
Right. That's a
Everything
very
comes out
good
clean
thought.
and right. And, you click the program. You still have to know the theory, which I need to know the theory today, but I don't have to use no calculator. You just
Right.
plug in Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C, all your forms, click a button, and you're done.
Right.
It's all nice and pretty.
Right. Go on.
Well, guess what? How fast were I doing returns? I went from trying to listen. Let me give you a great example of this real quick.
Yes, please.
Back in 1985, H&R Block was everything still doing it by hand.
Wow.
In
85.
1985, so by 86, I had my own computer. So
Uh-huh.
let me give you a great example. So in 85, the
Mhm.
most returns I can do all day from 9 to 7, back to back to back to back to back, was all paper and hand calculators and all that other, the little tape. The most returns I did in one day was 6 people.
With the computer.
No, without the computer. I mean, by
Okay.
hand.
Without the computer. Okay. I'm
Now
following.
I can go to people's houses. Okay, give me your W-2 form. Give me all your information. What I used to do,
hmm
this is for another time. When I was your H&R Block, I would
Uh-huh.
take all their forms,
Mhm.
right? I would take all their forms. I'd go to somebody. Remember, there was no laptops then. I would take all
Right.
my forms. Okay, how much interest did you have on your house? Put on, Schedule A. You have a business. Okay, here, it gave me all the business expenses. Take it home, go to the computer, enter it all in, and tell them this is what your, and I'd call them back, and this is what your refund was. And then I would mail them back the copies. They would pay me. I know what the forms I would need, and then they would pay me while I was there, and then I'd mail them back the stuff to mail out. Remember, because there's no internet.
Right. So how much more did you start tax returns did you start making?
I went from 12 to the next year we did, I think, 75 or 80 return.
In one day?
Well, no, for the year.
Okay, that's with the computer, right?
Well, no, I would do the remember, but I would have to go to people's houses. Year 1 and 2, I was going to people's houses.
Okay.
I'm still doing 80 returns, 90 returns, working at Block and then going at night to go to people's houses.
Wow.
And then by 1990, I said, this is too long. And my brother had a comic book store, and guess what I did? Part of the deal was me working for him.
Yeah.
I bought a laptop in 90. My wife bought one, and big fat ass, and I put it on the laptop, and I would do the return.
Yes.
And I had a monster printer. I would put everything on a CD. I would
Yes.
go home, load up the printer, and just run everybody's return and say, come back the next day and pick up your papers.
Wow. Smart.
Then we were doing 300 a year, 300
Whoa.
returns. Now I'm doing during the season. Now we're doing like, I'm still growing. Remember there, Mr. Great.
Yes.
But
Yes,
but I could still do in one day 10, 12 returns easy.
Yes.
As
Yes.
fast as my clients would come in, you could do them.
Right. So what was the mistake doing that?
I told my dad how much I paid for the computer.
And he got mad at you?
That's the mistake. Yeah.
Why did he get mad at you? He's a business guy. He should
No,
understand.
because he got that stupid box in my room.
I see what you mean.
What the
Yeah.
blank you're doing?
Yeah. He didn't see
Sounds
the
stupid.
potential
the
of the
vision.
computer. I see. So, but did that like affect your relationship with him, or just that
Oh,
moment?
no. We're Lebanese parents, it's like, whatever, Dad. So I learned never to tell him what I spend on anything,
Oh,
ever.
I see.
I learned that one real quick.
Oh,
Even to this
okay.
day, can I give everybody another tip, Mr. Great?
Please, sir.
Never tell
Yes.
anybody how much you spend on personal development, ever.
Why is that?
Because your wife, nobody's going to get you.
Not even your wife?
Never.
Wow, interesting.
Well, let me rephrase that. If your wife gets what you're doing, yes.
Okay.
But
Okay,
most
sir.
of them aren't going to get it.
That's true because it's you. It's your vision.
I mean, my wife's in the back in the office here, but they don't know what I spend going
Wow.
on these trips and speaking and going
Right.
here and there. I mean, I provide great,
Right.
but they would have a attack if they knew what I spent.
Oh,
But I have more than money, Luckily, my store does well enough
Mhm.
that it all gets absorbed, whatever.
yes, sir. Okay.
And every
Okay.
time I go, I learn something from other people.
Yes,
That's the advantage.
that's the
Like
advantage.
This week when I was in Chicago, I learned how to do grants. I became friends with somebody I known for about a year, and she wrote an AI grant program. So I said no for the year, and then I started talking to Christine. I said sure, and I bought the program.
And the AI grant program was written, okay, to gain grants from the government.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
she wrote it she did it about maybe 6 months ago, but I
Mhm.
just whatever. And then I figured, let me do it.
So, but you're going to monetize it though.
Well, I'm going to get money from the government. One,
Okay.
if I get one grant, I get my money back. And two, I'm always with Lebanese. Lebanese
Right.
people are the type of person, if you find $1 on the ground, it's already ripped up and how to sell it twice. It's like you rip it with your teeth. Let me start multiplying.
Oh, really?
Amen.
So they're very good with money then.
But yeah, they're good at making money.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you the last thing is give us I know you gave us another tip, but I still want you to give us a word of encouragement, whatever. It doesn't have to be business related. Anything that comes to mind that you feel like our audience will benefit from, because we're rounding up for you. I don't want to keep you too long.
It's okay. Just go out and do it, everybody. If you got a dream, in today's day and age, you could be a broke ass person, but if you got a dream, start working your dream. You have no money, start using YouTube. Start figuring out on YouTube. And then when you got a little bit of money, you buy the book and then you start working up the ladder. But keep working on your dream.
Is it fair to say that not everyone is going to be Michael Jordan?
Everybody's Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Of course, everybody's Michael Jordan.
Okay. That's a new take right there. Okay, please
You know why?
elaborate.
You know why? Let me,
Talk to me.
and I'll let you end at this. So I go on stage, right? And it took me, I've been speaking since 2019.
Yes, sir.
And I'm around some really smart people,
Yes, sir.
right? And then it took me till like 2 years ago, said,
Yes, sir.
guess what? In my planet, there's nobody better than me. That's why I'm Michael Jordan. So in my world, you understand how I am Michael Jordan. In your world, are you the best in what you do?
Right.
Then, so you're Michael Jordan. It's my point.
Albert Corey.
You like that one,
Man,
huh?
That's
If you are the best in class, you're Michael Jordan in your world.
Wow, it's a very interesting take, to be honest with you. Very, very interesting take. I'm not gonna lie. I like it.
And it doesn't
'Cause,
matter whether you're a plumber,
Yes.
seamstress, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Are you the best in the world? Are you are you the best at what you do?
So how do you quantify if you're the best at what
I
you
got
do?
the best quantification. I will tell you that you're the best. Ready for this one?
I'm ready.
People, the joke I will tell you is, I know the guy. That's it.
Not the guy. Interesting.
If you become, I know the guy, you're the best in class. Because people are
Yes.
sending you referrals, and it's not about referrals. is when they say, I know the guy.
Yes.
They're telling the world you're the best at what you do because they're telling somebody else to come to you.
Right. The people have they have access to you, so they refer people to you, and that access of I know the guy quantifies how much good you are at what you do.
People are telling you to come. That's why I have to use that word. I know the guy.
Right.
And it's different than a referral.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the
it's
same,
different.
but in my mind, when they say I know the guy, that's why I know you're the best.
Right. Really? Man, I need to start changing my mindset on that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. We're all Michael Jordan in our respective industries if we're the best at what we do. Because it doesn't just end at just you're the best or you're the Michael Jordan. You have to be the best at what you do in that industry. You have to make sure you work hard to be the best at it. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Well, guys, we've come to the end of our show today with our amazing guest. And I would like you to tell us how to find you, Mr. Corey.
Well,
How do we find you?
listen, you can find me on that's our firm there. We're on every social channel. You can,
Yes, sir.
I mean, you can find, by the way, can I give you people a free gift?
Yes, please.
I got an amazing gift that we're going to give you that 8 ways you can increase your profits that's straight under your nose. Guaranteed to put money in your pocket almost instantly. So you just go to coreybiz.com, coreybiz.com. And because we love you so much, you'll also get a special bonus, our 52-week email sequence that says, easy tips to increase your profits and tax stuff.
What's that website again?
Corey Biz. You want me to put it in a chat?
Yes. No, you don't have to put it in the chat because it won't show up on the screen. I'll have
Corey,
to make sure I edit it.
C-O-R-E-Y, like my name,
Mhm.
Corey Biz. Oh, I could have put it here.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Here it is, coreybiz.com. Can you see it there? I just saved it, hopefully. Oh, sorry.
It's not showing up right now yet. Oh, yeah. I see it now. Yeah. Yeah, coreybiz.com. Very simple. Yeah, I see it. Okay. And if they want to contact you, can they contact you via coreybiz.com?
Or you can go to for a free consultation, better call Albert. We're on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we're everywhere.
Corey Albert?
It's Albert Corey on all platforms.
Okay, Albert Corey. No numerical behind it, just Albert Corey.
Albert Corey. I'm the one and only.
You're the one and only. I love that.
But only difference is maybe on Instagram, if you type in Albert Corey, you'll see me. But on Facebook, on Facebook. On Instagram, it's 1040W2.
Oh, okay. Not Albert Corey, but 1040W2.
If you type it in, I'll pop up. That's because when Instagram started, I was always told in the beginning to, make sure you're branding. But then 3 or 4 years later, I started to get a bunch of following. You understand now, Mr. Great? And I didn't want to go change you understand now?
Yes,
I didn't want to go change the 1040W2 because I already had, 300 or 400 followers and I didn't want to start again.
Right. No, of course not. You're not going to have to go rebrand that when it's working.
Right.
I got you.
But even though everything should be the same across all channels.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Corey. Albert Corey, the man. Well, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow Albert as well. Make sure to take advantage of how to make some money and put some money in your pocket. Go to coreybiz.com. Make sure you do that, okay? And don't blame us now. We've already presented you with all the information. That's all our job is. And it's now up to you, all right? Well, welcome to the Akudo Experience. My name is Great Akudo. This is Albert Corey. And I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? You guys take care. Bye-bye.